Have you ever wondered why some people seem unstoppable while others quit at the first sign of difficulty? The answer isn't luck, talent, or even willpower. Self-motivation and the psychology of motivation hold the key to understanding what separates achievers from quitters. Today, we're diving deep into motivation secrets that turn ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Think about the last time you started something with incredible enthusiasm, only to lose steam weeks later. Your gym membership collecting dust, that side business idea still sitting in your notebook, or the skill you promised yourself you'd master. What happened? Most people think motivation is magic, something that just happens to you. But here's the truth that will change everything. Motivation isn't magic, it's science. What if I told you that researchers have cracked the code on sustained motivation? What if there were specific psychological strategies that could make you unstoppable? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how your brain creates motivation and how to hack it for unstoppable success. The psychology behind self-motivation. Your brain on motivation, the neuroscience. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain when you feel motivated. Dopamine, often called the feel-good hormone, is at the center of your motivational system. But here's where most people get it wrong. Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good when you achieve something, it actually drives you to seek rewards in the first place. Research from MIT shows that dopamine creates what scientists call wanting, not liking. This explains why you can feel incredibly motivated to pursue something even before you get it. Your brain releases dopamine when you anticipate a reward, creating that energized feeling that pushes you forward. But here's the fascinating part. Studies reveal that dopamine stays elevated during challenging tasks when you're intrinsically motivated. This means when you're truly invested in something for its own sake, your brain literally maintains higher levels of motivation chemicals. This is why some people can work on their passion projects for hours without feeling drained. The two types of motivation that shape your success. Psychologists have identified two fundamental types of motivation that determine whether you'll succeed or give up. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. You do something because it's inherently satisfying, interesting, or meaningful. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards or pressures, money, recognition, or avoiding punishment. Here's what decades of research have discovered. People driven by intrinsic motivation show higher levels of creativity, better performance, and greater persistence. They don't just work harder, they work smarter and longer. A comprehensive analysis found that intrinsically motivated individuals experience enhanced learning, performance, creativity, and psychological wellness. But extrinsic motivation isn't worthless. Studies show it can be powerful for jump-starting behavior or handling tasks you're not naturally drawn to. The key is understanding when to use each type and how to gradually shift external motivations into internal ones. Self-determination theory. The three pillars of unstoppable motivation. The most groundbreaking research in motivation comes from self-determination theory, developed by researchers Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. They discovered that sustainable motivation depends on satisfying three basic psychological needs. Autonomy. You need to feel in control of your choices and actions. When you feel forced or controlled, your motivation plummets. Research shows that people with higher autonomy experience more engagement, excitement, and confidence. Competence. You need to feel capable and effective at what you're doing. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you need to believe you can improve and succeed with effort. Relatedness. You need to feel connected to others and that your actions matter. Even individual pursuits become more motivating when they connect to something larger than yourself. When all three needs are met, something remarkable happens. Studies show that people become more intrinsically motivated, show greater persistence, and experience enhanced performance and well-being. The motivation-success connection. Why most people's motivation fades. Research reveals a critical insight about motivation. It follows predictable patterns. In one groundbreaking study, scientists discovered that motivation follows an inverted U-curve based on your success frequency. Peak motivation occurs when you succeed about 70 to 80% of the time. Not too easy, not too hard. This explains why most people quit. They either choose tasks that are too easy, boring, or too difficult, frustrating. The sweet spot is when you're being challenged but still winning most of the time. This is why video games are so addictive. They're designed to keep you in this optimal zone. But there's another crucial factor: your beliefs about failure and growth. Research on growth mindset shows that people who believe abilities can be developed are more likely to thrive in the face of difficulty and continue improving. They don't see setbacks as proof they should quit. They see them as information for getting better. The neuroscience of habit formation. Here's where motivation meets long-term success. Neuroscientist Anne Grable's research at MIT discovered that habits are stored as neural patterns in your brain's basal ganglia. When you repeat behaviors, your brain creates chunks of activity that require less conscious effort over time. This is huge for motivation. Initially, starting a new behavior requires significant mental energy and motivation. But as it becomes habitual, the neural firing pattern changes dramatically. The brain becomes active at the beginning and end of the behavior sequence, but quiet in the middle. This means less willpower required to maintain the behavior. Studies show that approximately 45% of daily behaviors are habits. The most motivated people aren't relying on daily willpower, they've automated their success behaviors. They've essentially programmed their brains for consistent action. Flow states. When motivation becomes effortless, research on flow states reveals the ultimate expression of intrinsic motivation. Flow is a state of complete absorption where your skill level perfectly matches the challenge. In flow, people report that time seems to stop, self-consciousness disappears, and actions feel effortless. Neuroscience shows that during flow states, the prefrontal cortex actually downregulates, reducing self-criticism and overthinking. Meanwhile, dopamine levels increase, creating feelings of pleasure and enhanced focus. The brain's default mode network, responsible for mind wandering, becomes less active. People who regularly experience flow states show enhanced creativity, better emotional regulation, and higher levels of intrinsic motivation. They become addicted to growth and challenge rather than comfort and ease. This is why elite performers often describe their work as play. They've tapped into the brain's most powerful motivational system. Building psychological resilience. The motivation resilience loop. Recent research reveals a powerful connection between motivation and psychological resilience. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about maintaining your orientation toward your goals despite adversity. Studies show that people with autonomous motivation develop higher levels of emotional intelligence and better cognitive appraisals of challenging situations. Instead of seeing setbacks as threats, they view them as challenges to overcome. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a fundamental rewiring of how your brain processes difficulty. Research on 698 children who faced significant risk factors found that 28% developed into competent, self-confident adults with satisfactory functionality. What separated them wasn't the absence of problems, but their ability to maintain focus on their long-term purposes despite short-term difficulties. The growth mindset advantage. Neuroscience research shows that people with growth mindsets have different brain activation patterns. When they make mistakes, they show enhanced error-related positivity, meaning they pay more attention to corrective feedback. Their brains are literally wired to learn from failure rather than be defeated by it. Studies reveal that growth mindset interventions can improve academic performance, especially in challenging subjects like math and science. But the effects go beyond academic achievement. People with growth mindsets show enhanced motivation, greater creativity, and better emotional regulation. The key insight? Motivation isn't just about getting started, it's about staying engaged when things get difficult. Growth mindset creates what researchers call mastery orientation, where challenges become opportunities rather than threats. Practical strategies for unstoppable motivation. Strategy 1. Design your success frequency. Based on the research showing peak motivation at 70 to 80% success rates, Deliberately structure your goals to maintain this sweet spot. Break larger goals into smaller milestones where you can win consistently while still being challenged. If you're learning a new skill, don't jump to the hardest level. Progress systematically, so you're succeeding most attempts while gradually increasing difficulty. This keeps your dopamine system engaged and prevents the motivation crashes that destroy most people's progress. Strategy 2. Satisfy your 3 core needs. Autonomy. Give yourself choices in how you pursue your goals. Even small decisions about timing, methods, or rewards can boost your sense of control and increase intrinsic motivation. Competence. Focus on skill development rather than just outcomes. Research shows that people who focus on learning and improvement maintain higher motivation than those focused solely on performance. Relatedness. Connect your personal goals to something larger, share your journey with others, find mentors, or frame your success in terms of how it helps people you care about. Strategy 3. Use implementation intentions. Research from Harvard shows that simply thinking through the specific sequence of steps required to perform a behavior increases the likelihood of following through. This isn't just planning, it's mental rehearsal that primes your brain for action. Write out exactly what you'll do, when you'll do it, and where. The more specific, the better. This engages your brain's procedural memory systems and makes the behavior feel more automatic. Strategy 4. Create habit stacks. Leverage the neuroscience of habit formation by linking new behaviors to existing habits. Your brain already has neural pathways for behaviors you do consistently. By connecting new actions to established routines, you reduce the motivation required to maintain them. Instead of relying on motivation for everything, strategically design your environment and routines so that success behaviors become automatic. This is how top performers maintain consistency even when they don't feel like it. Your motivation mastery journey. The science is clear. Motivation isn't a mysterious force that randomly comes and goes. It's a system you can understand and optimize. The strategies we've covered aren't theory. They're based on decades of neuroscience and psychology research from institutions like MIT, Harvard, and Stanford. But knowledge without action is worthless. Your brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can literally rewire itself based on what you consistently think and do. Every time you apply these principles, you're strengthening the neural pathways that support sustained motivation. If this video helped you understand the psychology behind unstoppable motivation, hit that like button. It really helps us out. Subscribe and ring the notification bell. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these motivation principles resonated most with you? What's one behavior you're going to start implementing this week to hack your motivation system? Share this video with someone who's struggling with consistency. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is help someone else understand that they're not broken. They just need better strategies. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person struggled with motivation at some point. The difference is they learned to work with their psychology rather than against it. You have the same brain, the same potential, and now you have the science. The only question is, what will you do with it? Your most motivated, resilient, and successful self is waiting. The psychology is proven. The strategies work. Now it's time to apply them.